us.
Who would have thought?
Not me.
It's already second episode and I've been bumped up.
She's been promoted.
I've taken Kevin's spot.
Easy on. Easy on.
Or more so, we've swapped places today.
We swapped places.
Because this week's episode, it's quite a doozy on the entertainment side.
It's a bit spicy.
And like I said, I'm going to be bringing a lot of the pop culture stuff in on this channel.
People got to talk about it.
Exactly.
Look, when I heard there was breakups and stuff like that, I thought I'd do the best thing that I could to make myself useful, and that was to get behind the cameras. Okay, look, we've got a really good episode there, guys. Before we begin, subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, your comments and all that stuff will be appreciated. But look, let's get into the juicy stuff. There's trouble in paradise with the Jonas brothers? Which Jonas is this?
It is Joe Jonas.
Okay, so this is not the dude with the Indian chick, Pranker, right?
That's not Nick.
Yes.
It's not Nick
Yes,
Jonas.
yes.
No one cares then. They all care about...
okay.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Hold on.
What's
Wait a
hap-
second.
what's happening? Tell me what's happening.
It is, in fact, Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner, a couple that I think for the general public would have not seen it coming at all because just how harmonious they appear to be on the Instagrams, you know, being Sophie being in music videos for Joe and everything. They've got 2 kids together, but unfortunately the marriage has fallen apart.
They
So
pulled the plug.
Joe apparently has filed for divorce in Florida, I believe, which has some implications from what I've heard. And
So he's filed for divorce.
he's filed the divorce. And apparently, allegedly, this comes after a myriad of blind items, speculation, he said, she said,
The
that
old Demoy.
may have contributed to the divorce. So, according to TMZ, who is at the forefront of breaking news and whatnot, their sources has claimed that the couple has had some serious problems for at least the last 6 months. To summarize things very quickly, there's been allegations of cheating.
Oof.
There's been allegations of parents not fulfilling their duties and being a bit more selfish, and then the other party has to be with the kids.
This is the Game
all
of
the
Thrones
time.
chick, right?
This
Yes.
is, yes,
He played
correct.
Sansa Stark.
Yeah.
Yes. Has she done anything recently? What's the most recent work?
So this is the piece, right? I believe. What's the last piece that she was in?
She was in that Netflix movie with Maya Hawke. She has that iconic scene of saying that she didn't do cocaine. You can see it on Twitter everywhere.
Mate, I feel
But-
so lost, don't you, Kev? Like,
but-
I'm like, I know nothing. Jon Snow.
But
Young kids.
But besides that, it's been very noticeable that she's had to sort of pull back. She hasn't been in as many projects as you would think coming off of Game of Thrones. Well, at the moment, she is filming a project in UK while this news has broken out. And so that raises a particular issue in terms of how these articles and speculations have come across, wouldn't you think?
Because that's the thing, right? Like is it stereotypically? Is it just in society? But this appearance that I guess the woman in the relationship is supposed to caretake while the man in the relationship, in that type of relationship, I must add, is able to kind of, you know, bring the bacon and whatnot in other means. There's been speculation where that's been a big cause of divide, in the sense that allegedly, again, this is all allegedly, right? And I must stress that it definitely, we don't know the whole story.
Yes.
We don't know any of the story. We shouldn't have to know the story. But what I do want to stress here, it's just the contextual thinking of what can cause some of these divides and what does this mean for society and how people think and perceive that these things should be the way that they are, right? The fact that, she's had to put the career on the back burner, and he had made a statement, which I need to say here, the source had said, Joe's been caring for the 2 young children pretty much all of the time, even as his band is touring. It gives that vibe of, that weird
He's shifting the blame.
yeah, and it's the power of the PR, right? It's coming at full force at the moment where they did submit a press a statement together
A shared
on Instagram
statement, yes.
saying, you know, none of all the stories that you're being led to believe, no one knows about it. We are amicably
It's their own
splitting,
lives,
etc., etc. But it just feels a bit strange considering prior to the news being published out that the divorce was going ahead, Joe posted on his Insta a spicy little kind of like smoldering photo of him with the ring still on. And a lot of the fans have been speculating prior to that the ring has been on, the ring has been off. What
In
does
terms
this
of the
mean?
timeline,
It's just a bit.
it's yeah. There's much to be said. Like, of course, we don't know what happened. Like, we won't know because it's not our place as the public. But the fact that they are a high profile couple, it's going to gain attention regardless. And in a way that their PR teams have been able to, well, more so Joe Jonas's PR team has been able to just start running ahead, because in a sense he does have the higher profile being in a band.
Yeah.
And yes, Sophie Turner, like, she's an actress, but again, she hasn't been able to further her career because she is a mother of 2 kids, and she's
a young
only
mother at that.
26.
Yes.
She's a year younger than me.
It's really wild. I think the life that the journey she must have been on. And again, not to speculate, but it feels that life comes at you fast, right? And it's just, as long as you have this like relationship that's built on a sense of trust and togetherness and not feeling of point scoring or now it feels like there's definitely some point scoring there. The latest bit of around the ground news is that apparently, allegedly, what had sparked the decision to divorce is that Joe had heard something that Sophie had said over
on a ring camera,
which is hilarious. That then made them decide, nah, that's it, we're done. Like, I'm sure they must have tried after, if sources are led to believe that, you know, they've been in a rough patch for a while. But again, it's just really funny. It's not really funny, sorry. It's just really crazy how
this is played out.
It's how it's played out, but also how they're trying to hold the narrative, hold the perception that, you know, everything's all peachy, but time and time again, things don't appear as rosy behind the glass, right?
And especially in their positions as celebrities, where it's not really a traditional relationship because you have the public eye on you.
Definitely. And it's the probably even the parasocial thinking, right? Of
the following of this relationship.
They're perfect. They can't do anything wrong.
Exactly.
But we're all human. Like, it's even they are too. And I feel like
things happen.
They're more subjective to the pressures, temptations.
Exactly.
All of that. It's just, it's look, heart goes out to both of you.
Hope you're able to work it out for the kids.
Hope you're able to work it out for the kids. Keep it clean.
What's the name of the Jonas Brothers band again?
It's just the Jonas Brothers.
No. So, no. What was Cake by the Ocean?
No, DNC.
DNC. That was his solo when he split off.
No, I got it. But you know what's my big bugbear?
Here we go.
It's when artists put their partners at the time in the the video clip. I mean, I love that Sucker For You video clip, but I knew it was never going to age well. And it had, now they got to take her out of it.
Or it's just gonna be played less.
There's been so many different artists that have had that route too, where like there's been many where it's just, oh well, that didn't age very well, did it?
And so we will just pretend it didn't happen.
It never ages well. And it feels like for Sophie, I mean, she was in Game of Thrones. I feel like the character is just mirroring real life. It kind of feels like it.
Oh,
Well.
she was locked in that tower.
Well,
Jeez Louise.
Yep.
there may be some merit there because if we look at Joe Jonas's track record of deciding to break up with people over text, am I right?
Over
Swifties, shout out to the Swifties who were very vocal about that. So it makes you question really about his character.
The redemption.
I mean, who do we think is next? There's got to be other couples that are on the verge. Yeah.
Well, if I'm going to go the same route with celebrity couples who seem like very well adjusted or are too perfect, I'm going to throw in maybe Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively.
Oh, no.
No.
I've seen a couple,
No.
I hope not, but it's just,
I love them.
it'll be a shocker if it does.
They've built an empire together. They've got like
Yes.
complimentary drinks mixers.
Yeah.
Like that's amazing.
See those guys. If they're on the rocks for the sake, the whole image and brand is built upon being like the perfect couple.
Exactly.
So I think that there'd be the time that
Their
would.
Instagram posts.
Again, though, it is interesting because even with Ryan Reynolds, I mean, he used to be with Scarlett Johansson, right? And there was rumors of him trying to control the relationship dynamic and everything. So
Right.
You never know, but I mean,
allegedly,
well, we're thinking we'll see in 12 months' time.
Yeah. Okay. Who do you have?
I've got somebody left the field. I thought
Left the field.
I cannot have another perfect couple or perceived perfect couple breakup, but I thought it would be somebody that would be left the field that you're like, whoa, that's an interesting combination. And I'm gonna go with Avril Lavigne and Tyga.
What?
What?
They're together. Wait, what tiger are we talking about?
That's very
Tyga, the rapper Tyga, like
that's
who
very
else would it
left
be?
of field.
I didn't even know they were together. Makes no sense. Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's for me. Look, like I thought it was forever when Avril Lavigne and the dude from Nickelback were together. But it's just I guess they're making sweet music together now.
Surprising.
So you know,
Yeah, yeah.
Very surprising. What about you? What have you got?
Oh, I got Kanye, my boy Kanye, and Bianca, the Aussie. Like, there's no way they end up together. I mean, it's not gonna be. Yeah, his forever wife, and he's gonna break up.
Considering how quickly they also got married,
Yeah,
it was just like blick in an eye. They're together. Oh, they're married.
well,
just the copycat nature of it as well, right? It just feels a bit too like. Again,
Too
this aspect
close
of
to home.
controlling that it kind of feels like.
hey man, every good relationship has a level of.
Excuse me?
Whoa, whoa. All right.
Okay,
all right.
okay. So we're moving on, but guys, if you like this chat, if you love this section, please leave a comment below. Any interaction, any engagement, subscribe, put the notification bell on. You know
What's
you
your
want
prediction?
to receive the new content.
Exactly. Who do you think's going to break
Who
up
do you think
next?
is going to break up next? Look, we have the Venice Film Festival happen soon.
Movies.
Movie time.
Movie time.
And obviously, we were shrouded with a lot of the protests and stuff like that. So tell us a bit more about it.
All right, so starting off with Venice Film Festival. It began on the 30th of August and it finishes on the 9th of September, which is our filming date today. And it's one of the top 5 film festivals alongside Sundance, Cannes, Berlin, Toronto International Film Festival. And I believe it's going to be the second last major film festival for the year. There was a couple of interesting movies as well. For example, you had Michael Mann's Ferrari, starring Adam Driver. Wes Anderson debuted The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, which is going to be short films that are going to be released on Netflix later this year. And also David Fincher's The Killer, Sofia Coppola's Priscilla, and also Bradley Cooper's Maestro. Quite an interesting selection
It's very stacked.
that they were able to bring in, considering the state of the strike, for example. So, well, for those who don't know, the strike, which involves the Writers Guild of America, the WGA, and the Screen Actors Guild, this is a strike that's been going on since May the 2nd, when it started off with the writers, who this is an ongoing dispute about getting the right pay for labor. So especially getting residuals from streaming platforms, making sure to combat the rise of AI, especially ChatGPT, in being used to, which is becoming a threat that will possibly try to replace writers, which is just all kinds of wrong. Trying to think that you can capitalize and make a robot out of human creativity. And it's also just, once again, making fairer pay, because some writers have written on Twitter especially that they can't even get health insurance or even a pension. So, and it's just the fact that CEOs of big companies such as Amazon, Netflix are just making billions of dollars off of the backs of these writers and creatives. And of course, this extends to actors as well. Like not just like, of course, you would think that big actors such as Adam Driver, Jessica Chastain, that they're making millions of all their movies, but this is also going out to the extras.
It's for everyone, right?
To the small actors who are just trying to make it, but are also just as valuable to any production.
And that's the thing that I quite like about both of these actors and the directors that have come out, right, in making use of their platform, considering that they're all in interim deals that allow them the opportunity to be able to promote and support, still work, all of that piece, right? Because it is that perception of it's just like, oh, but you're a big time actor and you don't need help. And it's like, but no, that's truly the state of like the point of having a union, where you're able to fight for the rights and the just the living right of
for what they make
for all these people.
Because
and
TV and film are so essential to the public, especially like following the pandemic, and so they're rightfully just asking to get what they deserve, to get the right pay. Like, for example, recently, Aaron Paul, who you know from Breaking Bad, he recently revealed he did not get any residuals from Breaking Bad, even though it's one of the top shows you always see in Netflix.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Because I even remember back in the day,
which was only about 10 years ago.
But the big syndication deals that would happen, right? Like, wasn't it Friends was like the tentpole example, where they would get easily a million, if not more. Like, I believe they were paid $1 million, but then it, like, just the ongoing residuals because of it was going everywhere, right?
Yeah, everyone's still watching it years later. But it's amazing that you would think that these film festivals are just would be impacted with the fact of absence of certain actors, for example. But as you mentioned, the reason why people such as Adam Driver, Damien Chazelle, and Jessica Chastain are even able to show up is, well, for starters, the Directors Guild America that Damien Chazelle is part of, they have not gone on strike.
Yeah. So
they're still able to attend. So, for example, that's why with Oppenheimer and Barbie, Greta Gerwig and Christopher Nolan could still show up because their guild was not on strike.
My gosh, that's when it was actually happening, right? Because I remember the cast of Oppenheimer were there for the photos, and then the clock striked, and it's
July
like,
14, yeah.
We can't go anymore.
July 14, that's when the actors went on strike and were not able to be part of press tours. But now the fact that Adam Driver and Jessica Chastain, they could attend because their movies that were created by independent production companies, those production companies were able to get an interim agreement because they had agreed to the conditions that the WGA are hoping for.
Yeah.
And so they are allowed to either continue filming some of the projects they're filming at the moment, or they're able to promote completed projects. So that was what was interesting, where Adam Driver, he said that Neon, the production company of the movie Ferrari, he said in a very, very powerful statement that very powerful statement is, why is it that a small distribution company like Neon and STX can meet the dream demands that the SAG is asking for? This is pre-negotiations. that attend to the Dream SAG's wish list, but a big company like Netflix and Amazon can't. It's a big call out, honestly.
It really distills things down very simply, right? To the haves and the have-nots, those that just want to get a big chunk of the pie, right? And not having to, I guess, recognize the contributions of the people that are actually working for them to pump that content out. What do you reckon, Kev?
I think it's I mean I've chatted about this with Samit on the pod in earlier episodes. It's just the economics and the distribution make it extremely sort of challenging, because you'd think for Netflix and the streaming sort of sites, I don't like. There's a lot of development costs as well that they've got to factor in, and all that sort of stuff as well. So I honestly I don't see it going well. My main narrative that I'm really intrigued to understand is, do we really think that the big actors are doing as much as that they can? Because I feel like a redistribution of the income curve can not solve a lot, but is a big part of it. And I can't imagine any of those A-listers saying yes to taking a decent pay cut to redistribute it back to the team there, because some of the figures that you hear for the big actors are jaw dropping. They're decent chunks of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's would you not think that is the tactic that is it the ATMP? Is that
AMPTP?
AMPT? Yeah, that's what
The
they
American
want you.
Motion
That's
Picture
what they want
Television
people to
producers.
think, right? It goes against this whole argument of, it's like the organizations actually need to do better to look after everyone, not just for the front facing talent. And this is my view of it, and would love to hear your thoughts about it too, Kat. But it's from what I've read, the SAG and the WGA are very specific about what they can and cannot do to support kind of the strike.
Yes.
Right? They've taken that approach of how do I say it? Like picket fences.
Showing up to support, like with giving food, giving water to all to the writers that are on strike. Even some of the bigger profile people coming in, like Bryan Cranston, Aaron Paul, as I mentioned.
And so they are a bit strong, right? Which is why it's such a big deal for the likes of Adam Driver and for Jessica Chastain to use these platforms and opportunities, because they simply don't have that many opportunities to do that. And I think, look, they can 100% pay for, like, they can take, I guess, a cut, but that's not that's moving away from the actual fight that's being had here, right?
It's tricky.
Yeah.
I don't think it's very clear cut, which is probably the reason why it's still going on. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting narrative to. It's
just the on-flow impact as well of everything else, right? Like, where's our TV shows? But
and the fact that so many movies are being delayed as well, such as Dune 2 was meant to come out the end of this year.
No one needs to see Dune 2. Come on,
but it's going to get spicy.
No one needs to see Dune
The more
2.
spices and more Zendaya.
Yeah, finally.
More Zendaya. Not just 15 minutes or 10 minutes of it.
I thought Zendaya was mid.
No.
We're not going down this path. We're not going.
Okay, that rabbit hole we're not going down to. Look, we'll go to the next topic. But again, if you like the chat, if you like the podcast, subscribe to the channel. Your subscriptions help the channel. Like the video, leave a comment below. It helps. Everything helps. Speaking of needing help, residential nice guy Jimmy Fallon is not so nice, apparently. What's happening?
Yeah, writers needing to be treated, right?
It's wild, right? So
it's really carried across.
A few days ago, the big Rolling Stone article dropped, an expose, if you will, of
shock horror.
It is 2 existing staff members and 14 ex-staff members kind of providing the expose of what it's like to work on the Tonight Show with starring Jimmy Fallon. There's been allegations of kind of erratic behavior, which is been speculated to be...
Sorry, define erratic behavior.
So there was an excerpt here where they say Fallon seemed to be confused during rehearsal. He crossed out jokes on a piece of paper he was holding, and then quizzically looked back down at the same sheet of paper to be like, wait, what am I doing? Like,
Fake news. Move on.
But there is allegations kind of behind that
Yeah.
saying that, there's he likes to drink.
Yes,
So-
I've
Who
heard.
does it in Hollywood? though?
I've heard about that.
So coping with that.
Yes.
But there's also allegations of kind of playing favorites where some of he's actually designated part of his staff to sit on a different floor, and he does not want to mingle with people that he doesn't know, allegedly.
Oof.
And he holds on to his favorites. But to add to the previous point, basically there's a lot of different outbursts. The staff don't know what to expect from him, inconsistent behavior. So it's that feeling of unease and the lack of psychological safety for when you're coming to the workplace, and that's a highly touted role, job,
yeah.
right, in the industry.
The late
working-
night industry
working
in
late
general.
night and bringing
Working
the
near
laughs.
Rockefeller.
Yeah, there's a lot of aspirations that are tied to that. So again, it's this rosy exterior that's coming out, but at the behind it all, the toxic environment that people are being subjected to at times.
You would think this is a really interesting pattern, especially following the likes of Ellen DeGeneres,
Yep.
James Corden, the
Yep.
fact that they were also all exposed to have created toxic work environments as well, which really begs the question of these personalities building their image on being nice, being kind, just being lovable, and for it to be the total opposite behind the scenes.
It's really strange if that's the strategy that they're choosing, right? Because again, if you're not being your authentic self, and I get it, this is showbiz, right? Where it's like it's the
Different persona from
performing and making the people laugh and whatnot, but it kind of feels like, who hurt you? What are all these demons that are coming out? And it's just, you can't.
Sorry, are you
be
talking
nice
about
to
Jimmy
your-
in this example?
Oh, anybody who's been out, so what? If we're talking about the daytime, nighttime talk show route, so there's Jimmy Fallon, there was Ellen DeGeneres, there was
James
what's his
Corden.
face, James Corden,
who's bowing out. Oh,
who's
he has
who's bowed
I
out
think.
now. It just feels this. It's also the pressure of the job, right? And that's not to make an excuse for crappy behavior, but it's this weird comeuppance where they've risen to the top. They're at the top of their game.
They're
but then
popular.
they
Everyone
just
knows them.
can't be nice. So this is the latest, by the way. So
Breaking.
just in the day prior, Fallon has apparently apologized to the staffers after the release of this Rolling Stones in an all-hands Zoom call. Don't you love that?
The most cost-efficient way.
Don't you love
A
that?
handy Zoom
Sponsored by
call.
Zoom.
Allegedly, he said, "It's embarrassing and I feel so bad. Sorry if I embarrassed you and your family and friends. I feel so bad. I can't even tell you. Man, I should have actually put in my
Well,
my Jimmy Fallon
And
impersonation.
the fake laughing with your whole body.
Oh my
Ugh.
god. Oh wait, hold on. You can just see right a bit through it, right?
Yes.
And this is the really sad thing.
I'm sorry I got
like
caught.
Jimmy.
Sorry, I got caught.
We used to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what he
we're
said.
used to.
Because the wording as well is very precise. It's sorry if I embarrassed. There's no accountability here.
Yeah, no. Yep. So what? Remind me, what was the whole Ellen situation again? She was mean, right? But Ellen's had what happened with Ellen again?
It's just more
Same.
Yeah.
toxic work environment.
The exact same thing that's happening here with Jimmy Fallon is the exact same thing that happened there, where they had terrible showrunners that's created.
What is terrible? What do you mean by terrible showrunners?
working
Environment.
writers.
So the show,
syndrome.
so it's
The writers,
so they're
right?
the host, right? So how it works is so you got the key talent being the host, you've got the writers that work in the background too, that support and collaborate to figure out the jokes and the punchlines. You've got the showrunner in all other TV shows where they're calling the shots. Basically, they're kind of like the director, but especially when it comes to
Like a producer, right?
quasi
Like-
live TV.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ultimately, right?
The
So-
project manager that's running
Kind
the execution
of.
of it, right?
So that's what happened with Ellen, but even on Jimmy, apparently there's been 9 different showrunners in the last 9 years.
Whoa.
That's a big turnover, and it's a big when you're trying to set up the I guess, the culture and the rhythm of one of the, like, who's the highest ranking late night show at this point in time?
It's somewhere.
It's got to be between them two, right?
Who's two? Jimmy and who?
Oh, Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel.
Jesus.
East Coast
The
versus
Jimmys.
West Coast,
We
right?
need to get one of these guys. Jimmy's out.
Yeah. So it's
there can only be one Jimmy.
One Jimmy. I mean, there's Jimmy from Mr. Beast as well. So.
Oh, okay. But there's the same comparisons with Ellen, with Jimmy, where apparently there's so for Jimmy's case, there's been seven former employees that say their mental health has been impacted, and it's commonplace to hear people joking about wanting to kill themselves. Very bad. Oof. Like when you're in an environment where it's just this is your dream job and this is what you've wanted, but then it just doesn't pan out the way that I guess it is. And there's even talks about crying rooms being there. That's common. See,
here's my view on this, because this feels like the lizard chat that we had just again, right? And this is like one part of like the actor strike too. And these creative jobs are, everyone wants them. This is everyone wants it. Everyone under the sun wants it, right? So if you think of the individuals that come out of it, like I would assume to get like to be a showrunner or a writer on this is your big break, right? You put it on your resume. It's you hopefully think you. So I'm not saying that the treatment that like that's being alleged is a good thing, and I'm not justifying it, but the burnout, there are a lot of reputable industries where quite simply the turnaround and burnout just happens because of the nature of the job. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but think of the nature of like a writer, right?
Yeah.
Because we remember when we went to America, we came to like a recording of a session, right?
We watched Seth Meyers.
They go into a room. They get almost similar to like what we did today. They get a bunch of topics. The writers have to write it.
The turnaround is very quick.
So mentally, it's very draining.
Yeah.
And a lot of them get shot down. I would think that the percentage of ideas that get accepted is less anyway. So mentally, you're just it's such a pressure part of it, which explains why if I just think that the nature of the job doesn't help, and like there are seemingly that there's a pattern here, and obviously the ego gets to some of these guys as well, right?
That's the thing. But with great power comes great responsibility.
How can he have great responsibility when he's clearly drinking on the job and like he's not on himself,
you're
right?
still at the helm of it, right? I do remember there was some chat. There was a Deuxmoi post where they were talking about how certain late night show hosts, when the strike did happen the first time around, how they approached it, and apparently they there was the likes of, I believe it was Coco, so Conan, that actually paid the wages of the writers while the strike was on, right? And and again, it's the difference I feel between somebody who is genuinely wanting to be creating and fostering an environment where you're actually working to deliver good stuff, and it's still their job to create that safe environment. This is no different to any other corporate job, right?
Yes.
You have a choice to be a good person that is going to be people focused, or you could be an asshole
and abuse your power.
That is going to abuse your power and then just drive to the result that they want to at any cost. Does that make am I making sense? Because that's what it just genuinely feels like. If you're going to portray yourself as the good guy,
that could be his stick. That could be his act.
Exactly, 100%. But then,
I think
who's keeping who? Like,
I think my counterpoint is the whole show is his name, right? Like, it's him, right? So his job, in my view, is to ensure that his show gets rated the most.
But
at what cost? I get it. The flip side is, if his show starts tanking and all that, then all these guys are without a job. I mean, all I'm saying is there are different perspectives on it.
But
as far as I'm concerned, he should hire like someone from HR. Like, I don't doubt that they should get it sorted. But in my mind, like a person like Jimmy, his job is to make sure that his show, not at all costs. There is a cost, but that's the primary focus. It's not the feelings business. the showbiz.
So business over being a decent person is apparently
Is
the
that
point.
is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying that the employment of those individuals hinges on the success of the show. Yeah, that's what makes it not clear cut. I do get what you're saying. Like I do get what you're saying.
But again, that doesn't.
Okay, so the flip side to this is like this will come out in the
many
news
flip sides.
in the news sphere, right? Yep.
Yeah.
And in 2 weeks' time, we're gonna act like nothing happened, and he's still gonna have a good show.
Well, no.
saying. That's my pessimism on all of it.
Wait.
No.
Yeah,
That's
that's
my
a very
pessimism
cynical view
It's
of it.
It's gonna happen.
Like Ellen had to phase out. James
James
Corden phased
also
out.
left.
Yeah,
I
but no
think
one liked
we're
James
in
Corden
this
to begin with.
We're in this moment of time where people now need to be held to account.
Yes.
And plus, let's be real here, right? Jimmy is probably close to his expiry date.
Oh, here we go.
Yes.
You had a vendetta against Jimmy to begin with.
I love Jimmy. I love Jimmy from SNL days.
Yes.
I love
yes.
him.
Yes.
And in the early days,
So who
when
you
he
want?
was
You want
being
Hassan, right?
earnest-
You want Hassan. We're pushing Hassan, aren't we?
Yeah, man.
We're visiting Hassan for Naj.
Let's get some color up in here.
You want representation at any cost.
Well, if they're gonna be nice, then it's better than what we've got
Hey,
at
I've
the
heard
moment.
some things about Hassan is a self-proclaimed like egomaniac. He just apparently
also
has the
heard-
self-conscious of
I've
control.
also heard some things about Hassan, but like, hey, we can't be hating on the like. It's whoever is the best
Representation
one
at any
in merit
cost.
at the time. Maybe Ronnie Chang would be great.
Yes.
I think
Let's get
Ronnie
a bunch
Chang.
of Daily Show people in.
Yeah.
I think
honestly.
Ronnie Chang like comes across as an
But it's
egomaniac.
hilarious, right? It's just the perception that people put forth, and then behind the scenes, it's
Just completely the
But
opposite.
Burning house.
ultimately, I do feel like if you're going to be the asshole, it's going to come back to bite you one day.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's it.
Am I right?
That's fair. That's fair. What do you guys think? Do you think Jimmy is past his expiry? That's a pretty big take. That's a pretty big hot take.
He's been a
Leave
bit.
some comments below. I mean, it's
Honest-
been hit and miss, right?
Yeah,
Since the Trump thing, maybe that's
that's a good
that's
point.
probably it.
That's a good point.
But well, now we can shift out of the entertainment
Oh
talk.
my god! I'm just over all this entertainment talk. Look, we got to talk about sports because there's a lot of sports happening here. There's a lot of sports happening here. But look, our boy. Last week we talked about Noah Lyles. Who has the last laugh now? So in the FIBA championship, the Americans. I mean, they lost against Lithuania, so that was a shock to them. Wasn't maybe a shock to a lot of people that follow the basketball. But I mean, we were watching it last night, and I told you that I felt that Germany were going to win, right? So anyway, the Germans beat the Americans, and shock horror, everyone in America
By 2 points.
is crestfallen. Yeah, but by 50 points. Like they won, they won.
Yeah.
And obviously the Americans are just distraught.
Shaken.
But I think Noah Lyles has had his last laugh. The
World
NBA.
champions.
Oh, it can't be world champions off the back of that. Like, it feels like there was a time when there is still this expectation that Americans, especially in basketball, have to win everything. Right?
Yes, that's it.
Yes.
And I think for those that actually watch team basketball, which is like not proper basketball, but like FIBA basketball is inclined towards team basketball. It wasn't a surprise. I definitely wasn't surprised to see it. And we have 2 European teams, Serbia without Jokic. So without their best NBA players are going to be in the finals. And settling for bronze, we have good old Canada
Canadian.
we got
and the US.
We got the North Americas.
So that should be interesting. So that's an interesting point. Who's in the US finals? Like, none of the Americans made it. It's not been a good week for America.
Oh, pivoting to US Open. So they just had the semis for the men's today/last night for America. And so we have Novak Djokovic, who beat Ben Shelton, who was the last American standing.
Sorry, Blake Shelton, right?
Ben Shelton. You wish. Ben Shelton. And Daniil Medvedev took out 2022 champion Carlos
Wow.
Alcaraz.
Wow, but wow.
We said last week he's a dark horse.
Yep, you
And
did.
it looks like, hopefully he might get another notch and replicate 2021, his win against Djokovic.
That would be really nice. That
would
would be
be nice.
really nice.
I'm sensing
because-
like a pattern here. Europeans beating the Americans. What's happening? The continents have shifted. The power balance. So yeah, sorry, you were saying?
No, we all know about my thoughts and feelings about Djokovic. Like, look, don't get me wrong.
It is.
He's
a lot
one of the
people
greatest
share
of all time. I
Go-
will say
go-
that
the GOAT.
objectively.
He was
not the GOAT,
The GOAT.
but
No.
a GOAT.
He's part of the big
a
three
goat.
for a reason.
Yeah, but
Yes.
but again, talk about kind of
The persona and
the
image that
persona
he puts
and just
forward.
the image, and don't get me wrong, Medvedev has had his time in the
yes.
sun as well, but he's just so funny. Like, he's just really
Well,
funny to me.
in terms of what she's referring to, at the end of Djokovic and Shelton's match.
Yeah.
So Ben Shelton, during all of his matches, he's had this
The phone thing,
sign
right?
off of the phone, which is
What does that even
meant
mean?
to be. It's meant to be a connection to one of his college mates, and also like signifying that you're dialed in, basically, into the match.
Inside joke.
Such an American
Inside
thing.
joke sort
It's
of
nice.
thing.
It's
and
cute.
so at the end of the semis between Shelton and Djokovic, in his victory copied
I saw
the
that
phone. Copied the phone.
What a standout
I love
move from
I love that he's
Djokovic.
petty. I actually love that he's
I
petty.
hate
I
it.
love it. It makes it entertaining. The sports
He
is about
doesn't do
entertaining.
petty as well as
As
Medvedev.
Medvedev.
though. Let's be real.
Medvedev is Russian, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're
said
born
this-
with pettiness.
You said
We
the
love
same
our
thing.
Russian fans. I don't know. Do we? I don't know. No, we do.
So yeah, look, the tennis that's happening. That should be interesting. Who do you think is gonna win? It's gotta be Djokovic. Let's keep it real. Come on. Medvedev ain't gonna win.
I'm
Ain't gonna
hoping for Medvedev. But also, well, shout out as well to the women's final.
Yeah,
which
what
is
we got?
going to be Coco Gauff, who I
Hey.
also mentioned. She's actually the last standing American.
Go for
Is
the
one
women.
of the youngest American since Serena Williams.
You're right.
So it's history, hopefully in the making. She'll be going against Arina Sabalenka, and Sabalenka has been in quite a few finals
Yeah, she
in
has.
all the previous
has.
Grand Slams. And actually, what's an interesting thing as well is that with both of these finals, the previous number ones, who are also the 2022 champions,
Knocked out.
so Carlos Alcaraz and Iga Swiatek, they were both knocked out and they're both losing their number one slot.
So it's up for grabs within this game. Is that what they're playing for as
Oh
well?
no,
or-
no. So Sabalenka, she's going to become number one.
Oh, regardless.
Regardless
of.
if she wins or not.
Yeah, okay.
And Djokovic, I believe it will become number one regardless or not.
It's gonna be Djokovic. It's gonna be Djokovic.
But let's go Medvedev, your hardcourt specialist.
Well, what do you call
There
a
you go.
little cat?
All right, let's switch gears to the NRL. Look, I'm a Brisbane Broncos supporter. Let me get the
Here
camera up.
we
Though.
go.
Let's get the
We
camera
could
up.
leave the room
Let us
technically
get the
while
camera up.
while he starts
Okay,
going.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna put a PSA out there. It's been.
You took
You
a-
know
you
what?
took
Yeah,
a
I took a damn photo. That's how excited I am about this segment. For you Broncos supporters out there, look at me when I talk to you. I know it's been a hard slog. It's been
Time.
5-6 years. I don't know what it is, all right? But this is our year with Reece Walsh at the helm. Listen, we're losing some of these guys, right? We've got to win it this year. The Broncos were fantastic against the Melbourne Storm. I know there was a civil war happening here, and we couldn't watch it in the same room because obviously Dad goes for the Melbourne Storm and I go for the winning team, the Brisbane Broncos. But they are amazing at the moment. They're peaking. Chubby Reynolds, the best thing about the game was watching him not score that try because
That
he
was
is
amazing.
pig trotters
As
for legs.
someone who did co-watch that was absolutely amazing.
They are peaking at the right time. And you know what? At this time, Penrith have smacked the Warriors 32-6. Look, it has to be a Brisbane and Penrith final. These two teams deserve it. They're equally the best team. And it's going to be the Brisbane Broncos. So, look, put your money down. Put the mortgage to the house on it. You know we're going to
Whoa.
win
That
it.
is
You know
not-
we're going to win it. This is not
Not
This is
advice.
financial
Sound
advice.
No, it's not.
bet within your limits.
No, it's not.
Use my William Hill affiliate link at the bottom.
Oh my goodness gracious! No, gamble responsibly.
Responsibly.
Or don't gamble. Don't gamble. Who told
Don't
you to gamble? You
gamble.
shouldn't be
Full
gambling.
stop.
Yeah. Just watch it for recreational purposes. Like
That's it. This is infotainment.
he's been waiting to kind of clearly say this the whole entire time.
Yes.
Right? This is
He's been
It was my moment,
raring
Chance.
to go
It was my moment.
for the Broncos.
Guys, this has been a great podcast. I don't want to be here again. I feel like the sixth man up. I've been rearing to get out. That little trotter over there has kept me moving. But
you've
what can
seen
we do
good
to support
episodes.
the channel? Tell the guys.
Like,
Comment.
subscribe,
Oh.
comment,
Ring that bell.
ring that bell for all the notifications and all the latest that comes through our channel.
check out on Spotify for the audio version of
We're on
the
Spotify,
episode.
guys. I mean, if you're in the car, you should not be watching the YouTube, but still subscribe though. Give us the
Exactly.
views.
And
Watch
yeah,
on Spotify.
going back to the comment, tell us what you think about all of these wonderful
Chime
topics.
in on any of the topics. Who do you think's going to win for all these finals?
for all of these things that
For
are
sport.
happening.
That's it. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.